Welcome everybody to the MrBoxingguru podcast. It is me, Sal, MrBoxingguru. Quick shout out to Los Anaya. That is their music on my intro. If you guys like their stuff, make sure you go to Spotify, search for Los Anaya, and you'll see some of their other stuff. Good artists out of the Texas, the beautiful state of Texas. Again, guys, if you guys like the podcast, remember if you're listening to it on iTunes, make sure you rate it, you good old 5 stars. Comment if you like it. If you don't, again, same thing. I appreciate all the feedback. We've been trying to implement it as much as possible. And of course, speaking of feedback, I get a lot of you guys have provided feedback. You guys tell me that you guys more than anything like the storytelling. It's a little different from what you guys see out there, and that's the reason why I wanted to change the podcast to midweek. I think what we talk about, and as I try to keep you guys engaged as much as I can, we talk about not necessarily the fights that are coming up or the fights that happen. I'm gonna try to give you stories. This week's a little dry on the stories, but again, there's some stuff that's happening, and I wanted to talk about them, and I think they deserve our attention. So first things first, Paulie Malgnaggi slapped some sort of UFC fighter. I don't know if he's part of McGregor camp. I don't know, but it was like a little chingadita, the slap, which is to me, it was kind of amusing and odd at the same time, because I really don't understand why Paulie Malgnaggi puts himself in these positions. Look, Paulie Malgnaggi was a great fighter. Wasn't a great fighter. He was a special fighter, but he wasn't a great fighter. And what I mean by that is that, look, the guy was able to win, 2 belts in 2 different divisions, which is something that I think most fighters dream of doing. Some of his best fights were with who? His most notable win, I think it was versus Baby Bull Diaz, when he, arguably won the first one, and the second one, was a bit more convincing. But again, he's not a great fighter, but again, a special one. A special one is because we all know the kid can't crack an egg, but somehow he became a champion. That's special. If you end up becoming a champion, you're a special guy, especially when you don't have the power to keep dudes off you. He obviously did something right. Kid had a great jab. He talked his way into a lot of things. Again, he talked his way into becoming a great announcer. So that's why I don't understand why he puts himself in a position to be an opponent for this type of shit. His last couple of fights, I think he was even used as an opponent back in the UK. Of course, we knew that maybe the closest fight he had was versus a 135-pound Adrian Broner. Well, Broner made 147, but he was just coming off 135. But he puts himself in these positions where it's a lose-lose. I don't understand if it's a money thing, if he's really out of money, if the guy is hurting. But I don't understand. But you see guys like Roy Jones did it too. Again, great announcers, but somehow put themselves in positions to get hurt. Now he's doing this. I don't know if it's like BKB. It's like bare knuckle boxing. I don't know if it was like the thing Bellows was on. But nonetheless, it's just odd. It's just another way of him getting hurt. Right? These big MMA dudes. These big MMA dudes are, they're big dudes, man. They'll fuck the little puny boxer up, and it's not like Paulie Malgnaggi has all his reflexes to keep dudes like that off of him. I really don't see it. Best of luck to Paulie, what he does, but I don't know, man. I don't know if it's just, again, a money grab. Is he hurting? He seems like a very smart dude. Seems like one of those dudes that really take care of his money, so I don't understand the fascination with being used as an opponent. It doesn't make sense, not for a smart guy like Paulie Malgnaggi. Speaking of things that never made sense, there's a new video out where that was actually released by Team Pulev. where I don't know if it's Pulev or his brother or whatnot, but that Sushe girl, what's her name? Jenny Sushe was actually given a lap dance to one of the guys. Uh, there's video out there as well of of Sushe after the infamous kiss, where she's wanting to party with them, and from my understanding, from again a lot of sources that I did hear from, they partied into way hours of the night together, and again, of course, the next couple of days, what is her name, Gloria Alred, the ambulance chaser, I'm sorry, jumped on this, and they wanted to I guess hurt Pulev in his career. Which of course we all know anytime Gloria Allred, for the most part, is involved, it's a money grab. Hope all this gets dismissed. Hope everything gets thrown into the trash. Look, I'm not saying what Pulev did is excusable. I think if you were friends with this girl, that kiss belonged behind closed doors, because you open yourself up to criticism every time you put stuff like this in public. But again, I don't think he deserves to be called some sort of predator, like we're saying. It's not fair, especially for a girl that was giving you a lap dance, within the next couple of hours. I think this type of stuff hurts not only women boxing, not only women, I'm sorry, in the sport, but media as a whole, because you see that access that this young lady had was special access, and it's somehow okay in boxing. It's okay for some folks to get that all access. I think that boxing promoters and event planners, or whatever you want to call them, are somehow going to be a bit more cautious, because they're not going to want that liability because of folks like this, because of folks that come from outside of boxing and they somehow try to get into boxing for some weird way, because I guess the sushi rolls have expired on their body. They think it's okay to come to boxing. They see that boxing is on a bigger platform. They think it's easy to do a money grab and bounce, but that fucks it up for the people that have been doing boxing for many years, or for the new people that are somehow trying to go to boxing or trying to come and cover boxing, because you see this all the time. You see these new folks, these new faces, these people that come and try to get into boxing, but somehow now, because of people like Jenny Sushe, it's going to be tougher, it's going to be harder to get access to those fighters, to get that great exclusive interview that some media outlets have always been trying to get. Now, fighters are going to be a bit more standoffish. Promoters are going to be more standoffish to the media, and you're just going to get to go and ask your silly questions at media events. Be careful, fighters. It's not worth it. Pulev, you did something that was very stupid. Please don't do it again. Jenny, Sushe, just go the fuck away from boxing. I really hope I never see you in covering our sport. It's just, you just seem like a horrible person, and again, I don't know if it was just you or just somebody jumped in your ear, but I really hope this mess goes away soon. Speaking of messes, what's this kid, Shakur Stevenson, just got into a brawl. Actually, I just saw this earlier this afternoon. He got into a brawl somewhere in South Beach. Woman was hit. I saw the video. Seemed like some dude was knocked out cold. And for what? I mean, why is it necessary for you as a fighter to get into a fight with a pedestrian? If the dude talks shit, let him talk shit. If he says something about your mama, let him say some shit about your mama. It's not true. But you hit this dude. It looks like you knocked him out cold. A girl got slapped. I think, if I'm not mistaken, if I saw the video correctly, you might have hit this girl. You're a prize fighter. You fight for a prize, not for that prize to be taken away from you. It's not worth it. You're a young kid, Shakur. I mean, and I know it's easier for someone to say this to you than to do it, especially you only being 21 years old. But it's not really worth it to let these loudmouth assholes get to you. Just quick story, kind of going off topic or kind of with the topic. Something like this happened to me I think it was about 2 weeks ago at the Mercito fight. This guy, loudmouth guy, came, knew the guy. We talked shit, and in a joking matter, DMs or whatnot. And yeah, I like to joke. I like to joke a lot too. So if somebody tells me a joke or makes fun of me, I'm gonna laugh it off, but I'm gonna clown your ass back. This guy didn't like it. He got all on his feelings. I don't know if he had alcohol, but he made a big deal. He made all this noise talking about he wanted to kick my ass, blah blah blah, this and that. Old me, 10 years ago, Guru would have been like, you know what? Let's go, motherfucker. Either you whoop my ass or I whoop your ass or you whoop my ass. Either way, we're gonna throw hands. New Guru is like, dude, I got so much more to lose. Then you obviously don't have shit to lose because you're out here trying to fight people. And that's when I guess, and that's part of the reason why I'm saying Shakur, it's really not worth it. These guys have nothing to lose. If you were getting taunted or whatever happened, it's not worth to put hands on somebody because at the end of the day, you're gonna get arrested. You're gonna have to pay fines, and I'm not trying to pay fines. I know I'm in a better place in life that maybe that I was 10 years ago. So yeah, the wars aren't the fights more than anything aren't needed. Spar somebody good for you. Plus, I'm old, man. I'm not trying to get my ass beat by some young guy either. But that's that. Last week, I also started this section, segment, I guess you could say, just ask Guru, ask me questions. I put it out there a little earlier before I started recording the podcast, and I said, you know what, let me ask some of the questions, let me answer some of the folks. For those of you guys that know me, I have my live and I answer everybody's questions, or at least I try to answer everybody's questions to the best of my ability. So I'm going to go ahead and do so. Let me grab my phone right quick. Okay. So first one that came in was from Wildcard King. He says, who's Golden Boy's next world champ? And should Ryan fight versus Rocky? Good questions. To answer your first one, Wildcard, Golden Boy's next world champ, in my opinion, is Virgil Ortiz. I said this numerous times. Virgil Ortiz, in my opinion, is the prospect Golden Boy has that seems to surpass anything they have. I think he is the goods. He's not as known to the general public because he's a very quiet kid, very reserved, very funny. If you listen to him or if you follow him on Twitter, very funny dude. But again, as far as skills, he's shown me that he has them. I mean, he, in my opinion, he reminds me of a young Fernando Vargas. Now, the question is, can Golden Boy and his management, can they guide him to the right way? That way, we get to see a beautiful career. Again, not that Vargas didn't, but Vargas fought a lot of fights early in his career that didn't allow him to be the superstar that he had the ability to be. So I think Virgil, he seems like he has great folks around him. Golden Boy is building him little by little, and I can't wait to see him on that May 4th card. As far as should Rocky and Ryan fight, the boxing fan in me, absolutely, I want to see that fight now. Now, you got to put yourself in each fighter's, I guess, camp. If I'm in Ryan's team, I would try to stay away from that fight. I would try to diminish Rocky's abilities as much as I can. I would toot my whatever hundreds of millions or whatever followers that I have, saying that's an accomplishment in its own. So I would go that route to try not to fight a guy like Rocky. If I'm Rocky's people, I would try to ask for this fight tomorrow. get the fight now. Look, Ryan is being developed in a different way now. Now they know what is it that they have with Ryan. Getting 2-3 fights back, 4 or 5 fight backs. I'm sorry, they didn't know exactly what they had. Then as he started fighting the other better fighters, they know exactly the type of caliber of fighter Ryan is, and fight. Of course, they're not going to put him against a rugged Mexican that knows how to catch. So yeah, again, Ryan's folks should stay away. Rocky's folks ask for the fight now. Let's see who else had a question here. Let's see. I think it says Hector. Why hasn't Joe? And Hector asks, why hasn't Joed faced a top contender? And who is a good fight for Jojo to fight May 4th? Should he fight for a belt or another contender as well? Good questions, Hector. Joed, I you know what, Joed's about 3 fights away from fighting for a belt. I think his team, and again, they have a great team with Espinosa. I think it's one of the better management companies that's out there. They should put him in the spotlight as much as they possibly can this next 3 fights, because yes, he does deserve to go for a belt. So he is the more polished, more developed fighter, one of the most developed fighters that Golden Boy has, and I think he is at that point where he has to sink or swim. Yeah, he has to go for a belt. We know what he has. He's again developed as they can now. So again, 3 fights maybe, and again move forward, go after these belts and try to get them. As far as Jojo goes, look, Jojo was supposed to fight. Well, not supposed to, but the Tevin Farmer was talked about. That fight was talked about a lot. So, I'm guessing Jojo's team and Tevin Farmer's team, didn't see eye to eye. Again, no pun intended for Terrence Farmer's eye. We all have a little lazy eye. I have one myself. His eye, con un ojo va bailando y con el otro casi mira. It's it leans back a little. But again, I'm not making fun of his eye right now. But for whatever reason, Tevin didn't want the fight. That would have been a great shot at getting a belt. I think for Jojo, there's no more room to fight weak opponents. I think he is a championship level fighter. He is a contender, and he should fight another good fighter. Look, he did great work with Charles Huerta. With Charles Huerta is no slouch, but that's it. That's it. I mean, he has to fight another contender. I hope it's a great fight again. May 4th is going to be a stacked card with Golden Boy's top young talent. Let's see who else we got here. We got ZG Boxing. Let's see what ZG is. Let's see, and we know ZG Boxing because it's Sal Sinsun. He was the one time that I had guests on my podcast. He's a manager now for a small stable of local Southern California boxers. So his question is, would you consider being a matchmaker? Would I consider it in a heartbeat, Sal? I think we all are matchmakers in one way or another. I mean, we always say, oh, okay, how would this guy fare with this guy? To be fair, the Canelo Golovkin fight was made by fans. Fans were the matchmakers. I think if it was up to the promoter, they would, or at least up to Golden, but they would have stayed away from Golovkin, as much as they possibly could. But it got to a point where there was really no choice but to fight the monster that is Golovkin. Would I love to do it? Absolutely. It's funny because I put that out there on Facebook a couple of days ago, and I said that I want to do it in a local level. But as I continue to think about it, would I do? Why would I do it? I mean, is it really worth the heartache, the money? I would love to do it for a company where I'm helping develop talent. Yes. As an independent matchmaker for all these other companies that are out there, like, I guess you could say there's so many local promoters here that use certain matchmakers. I don't know if I can do it because I think you develop friendships and you're gonna you're gonna favorite certain people over the other when all you have to do is make a good match. And I don't know if I could do it. I think it would be a great experience, but I don't know. I don't know if I would want to put in the time, the commitment to doing that to get a $200 paycheck. It just doesn't seem to be worth it. But you never know, man. I might give it a try if somebody wants to take me under their wing and teach me the ropes. Shout out to Robert Diaz. Let's do it. Let's see. ¿Quién más? Dice Juice and Nayarit. Question for the podcast. Why isn't now Heyman ever at the fights or at the weigh-ins? Or is he even there? I never see him. That's what he says. Honestly, I don't know. I think he seems like he's a private man. He doesn't really need to be there. There's very little people that know him or know of him. And I think he likes it that way. Why is he there? I'm not sure. I don't think he feels the need to be there. Plus, most of his fights are empty. Let's see, who else? Ace of SoCal. A ver qué dice este cabrón. Is it true that you're changing this to a Michael Bublé podcast? Shout out to Ace. Hey, Ace has a dream job that nobody knows what it is. Everybody knows Ace. Everybody, because he loves his boxing. He loves his Dodgers. If I have any questions regarding baseball, he is my go-to guy. I did go to a concert yesterday. It was Michael Bublé. Hey, dude, that guy gets down. I love it. I went with some great folks, great friends, and would I go again? Absolutely. Would I drink as much as I did? Probably not, man. It was bad. Let's see. Turi 805 asks, "Fuck, marry, kill," and the available answers are Top Rank, Golden Boy, or PBC. Okay, fuck Top Rank. They just seem like they seem like a good fuck. Marry. I'll marry Golden Boy in a heartbeat. PBC. Kill. PBC. Ya saben que me caen mal, cabrones. ¿Para qué me preguntan? Shout out to 3805. Has a podcast as well. It's AA Sports, so make sure you guys listen to it. Let's see. And Art Delum asks, did Michael Buffer really come out in Dumbo? And the answer is absolutely. He was there. I was amazed. That was actually, Dumbo was one of my favorite movies growing up. One, because he was the fat cartoon that everybody loved, and boy, do I love fat things. Yes, he was in Dumbo. He did come out, and I love the movie. I actually went to see it at 9 in the morning with my wife on Saturday. That said, this is the MrBoxingguru podcast. Thank you. Have a good one. Bye-bye.